If you've been on the internet for a while, you've probably spent your fair share of hours on social media platforms. But the more time you spend on social media, the more you notice they somehow keep getting worse over time. Do you remember the times when you didn't get bombarded with ads? When they didn't train their AI models on your face, your pets, your voice, or your art? As an artist and content creator, I was praying for a better alternative to pop up. So I'm extremely excited that I got to talk to William Lavelle, the founder of Haven Social.
The way we handle appeals is we pay a human to do it.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
What?
Who are also sponsoring this video. We had a Q&A live on stream with you guys being able to ask questions, and Lucky Inkyo being my co-host. I genuinely think Haven is going to be a significantly better and more ethical alternative to current social media. However, for that to work, they do need our support on their Kickstarter to scale it up. But who better to tell you about it than the founder himself?
Thank you for the introduction. I'm the other William here. Basically, we are building a platform that is the antidote to the enshittification and the rot that has consumed all the other social medias. So we protect you from facial recognition surveillance, from AI training its models on your art. We don't shove AI down your throat like YouTube is doing with AI filters, mostly and incredibly protecting you from algo speak. I hate algo speak. Spite for it is actually what drove us to turn this from a school project into a full-fledged application.
That is so understandable.
And I hear the word unalive, it makes my blood
Oh my god.
Have you ever heard of Clearview AI?
It's not ringing a bell for me.
They can take any photo of you and find any other photo of you anywhere on the internet. Like literally Big Brother 1984. And they take it... Oh, don't worry, it gets worse. So just the security camera out on the street can see you walking down the sidewalk and know exactly who you are and pull up all of your relevant social security information, all your social media, everything. Because it knows what your face looks like, because it looked at your Facebook. So that is what we're aiming to protect people. That's more of a cyber nerd point. Also, we're aiming to protect people from AI art scrapers by providing them free poisoning.
Before we get into the questions, William had a ton to say, so this video is only the super condensed version of that. Feel free to also check out the full uncut interview later. So first one, very general question. How is Haven different from current social media platforms?
Basically, protecting you from facial recognition, mass surveillance, protecting you from AI art scrapers, protecting you from your social media forcing AI features down your throat. We are the opposite. It's rather like when you go to the store and you're shopping for a new washer. All the new washer dryers nowadays have phone apps and they connect to the internet and all this crazy stuff, to the point where the older washers that do less are better.
Yeah,
That's what we're providing here. In addition, almost every social media in use today is controlled by a billionaire oligarch in bed with the federal government and is pushing news and suppressing news aligned with that position. And so they are modifying the algorithm to manipulate and propagandize you into having convenient worldviews. So we protect you from that by not sneakily behind the scenes editing our algorithm. We're very upfront and transparent. You can see exactly how it works. We'll get more into that later.
Yes, awesome. What do you think Haven will look like, and how will it function? Is it more image or reel based, like a grid like Instagram? What is the vibe?
Imagine we're going for kind of a Instagram or TikTok replacement. Probably more TikTok than Instagram. Instagram's UI is so confusing. There isn't just one place to scroll. So more towards a TikTok replacement.
Let's get into all of the AI stuff. Can this platform do something to protect artists' work from AI?
Absolutely. So the main obstacle that prevents artists from using poisoning tools like Mist or Glaze or Nightshade is that using these tools requires some really beefy graphics cards, which not everyone has. So we are removing that obstacle by letting you use ours for free. Just upload the art and we'll take care of the rest. So we're laying the groundwork for mass proliferation of poisoned art, which has a really interesting effect. You might think, oh, you could never do it in enough scale to actually make a difference, when that could not be further from the truth. You can actually go on the offense here, not just defense. You can strike back. Regardless of the size of your AI model, a fixed amount of poison samples can ruin the entire thing. With them, it was like 200 poison samples really messed up their model, even when it had billions and billions of tokens. So it's even extremely large data sets can be hurt by small amounts of poison. So large amounts of poison can hurt even more.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that there was like anti-surveillance like worked into that as well.
By messing up facial recognition tech like Clearview, you are surveilled less. And then additionally, just by us doing nothing, you are surveilled less. Instagram and TikTok and Twitter all surveil you. So if you have an alternative that doesn't do that, by using it, you are protected from surveillance.
That is very funny and
know,
sad,
crazy,
kind
right?
of, but yeah.
Can't believe this is the bar.
Yeah, I know. This is where the bar is at nowadays.
The bar is depressingly low. It's so sad. If you liked what you heard so far, Haven is currently running on a super small scale, and in order to scale up the project so we can actually start using it, they need our support. They are running a Kickstarter which you can donate to if you have the funds to help them grow their team and purchase graphics cards in order to provide free poisoning. But spreading the word is also extremely important. The more people know about it, the more likely it is to succeed. So you could send the Kickstarter and this video to your friends or other spaces that might be interested, like art Discord servers. And of course you can like this video and leave a comment so YouTube shows it to more people. Maybe just tell us what feature you're most excited for. If someone does try to post AI, will the app be able to detect that?
Some tools, such as Google AI, will embed a really hard-to-see signature into the image, like a watermark. They call it Synth ID. So we can absolutely test for a Synth ID and remove it. For ones that don't watermark, yes, we'll try to auto-detect and remove it, but AI art detectors are pretty unreliable in general. They're pretty hit or miss. With the revenue from Haven, which I'll get into in a moment, we can absolutely fund research and development to make detectors better. But at the moment, they're pretty sketchy. So instead of just relying on automatic detections, we're also building a really, really good manual detection system that really incentivizes people to report AI slop and allows us to pay our creators better than any other platform. So here's how it works. So you'll be scrolling and you'll come across a little section that says, do you think the previous post was AI slop? Does it break our site rules? Was it adult content, but it wasn't marked as adult content? And if you answer that for us, we'll throw you a quarter, a dime, whatever. And then it's really cool. We can actually use this to pay our creators more. Because once we give you that dime, we're not going to let you, the survey answerer, keep it. You can turn around and donate that to a creator that you enjoy. But you know what's better than removing AI slop? Preventing it from being posted at all. We can do this using the sinister power of incentives. So let's consider, what are the incentives for people to post AI art online? They're not doing it for the lovely art. They're not doing it for fun. They're not doing it for validation. They want to make just enough of a following to monetize their channel. We have a human reviewing accounts to see if they can be monetized, and we include AI slop as a reason to be denied.
It's so crazy that the answer is like so simple. It's so common now to see like people spamming AI content and being like, could this not have been prevented? Like, nobody wants to see this, but it is that easy. It is literally that easy.
It is that easy. These other platforms don't remove it because they don't want to.
Okay, this is a question that I added, and I feel like that's kind of the downfall of a lot of places. Will there be core values which cannot be overwritten in the future? Example being Blue Sky being very vague about like NSFW rules and AI rules and then kind of just changing it.
I don't currently have those written up, but I do think that that is very important to inspire trust in the community.
Do you have like an idea on like what direction it's gonna go, I guess?
We want to allow as much as possible that isn't hateful, that isn't illegal to own.
I'm assuming one of the core values is that you're never gonna allow Gen AI on this.
Yeah, okay, that's definitely a good thing to add. And
I feel like that would be a little bit weird otherwise.
Definitely, yeah, it would. So yes, absolutely, no generative AI. Comparing ourselves to Blue Sky here, the reason Blue Sky changes their rules is because right now they are currently being run on people buying cosmetics like premium subscriptions and VC money, which means they are beholden to those VCs. We are
VC
aiming to
standing
be
for what exactly?
Venture capitalist.
Okay,
people who give you money. People who give you money in exchange for ownership of your company, like selling shares.
I feel like in most people's brains watching right now, VC is just voice chat. So I was like, huh?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Helping me translate. This is important important to note that they aren't self-sufficient. We are going to be self-sufficient by running advertisements, which means we have a lot more control to keep our core values exactly how they are. We're not pressured to change them by our shareholders.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, being financially independent allows you to enforce those core values, which will require running ads, unfortunately. I'll talk about it. Don't hate me yet. Please don't crucify me yet. I'll get more into detail with that later in the interview here.
We're sharpening the knives.
Oh
okay,
boy, I'm suitably worried.
On the topic of knives, will scraping be prevented?
Yeah, there are several great tools that you can use to prevent scraping. I'm a big fan of Cloudflare's AI Labyrinth, where when an AI enters your site to scrape, it just diverts it to an infinite looping room of web pages that never end and don't have anything valuable on them. So it just wastes time forever.
One person on the Google forums asked, how do we know you aren't gathering pure data sets by saying no AI generated content is allowed?
So proving that users can trust a group of strangers on the internet is inherently difficult, but I'll give it a shot. So for starters, we're not from Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is always churning out startups that promise new and exciting ways to make your life worse. But we're the exact opposite. We're from out here in the Midwest. Cornfields represent. We got integrity out here. Secondly, the owners of all the current social medias all attended for the kids of the 1% fancy Ivy League schools. Zuckerberg went to Harvard, Dorsey went to NYU, not us. Iowa State University, represent, baby. So we're engineers, not tech bros. To be honest, I don't know if people actually care about those previous two bullet points. So if there's something else that you care about that would help you make the decision between are they trustworthy or not, please let me know about it.
I guess I have to say, to be honest, we're all using YouTube right now. We're all using Instagram and TikTok and whatnot, and those are not very trustworthy sites, and we still use them. I feel like I'd rather make a gamble on a news site that actually has features I'm excited about than, whatever is happening on all the other stuff currently.
That's very kind to hear. Yeah, it's sort of the idea of, well, it can't get any worse.
Yeah, it's kind of, it can't. People are really excited in chat.
Really? All right. Yeah. I'm glad to hear. That is incredible. I'm going to have to watch this VOD myself to see the chat.
Also, just a reminder that this interview was live and this video is a super condensed version. We up for 2.5 hours, but I simply couldn't cut everything into the video. So if you want to know more about a specific question, or if you want to check out the questions I had to cut out completely, please check out the VOD. I even added timestamps so you can skip to the parts you care about most. Or you can use it as background noise to get stuff done for 2 hours. Back to the video. Next one is a bit critical, but also I think very important. How will this platform appeal to non-artists, and how will you overcome the network effect and get enough users for the site to reach critical mass?
This is actually what sets us apart from other, anti-AI art sites, is that we aren't just appealing to artists. The other sites have the issue where it's all performers and no audience. You only really go on Kara if you're an artist. So we appeal to non-artists as well because we're appealing to artists, cybersecurity and privacy freaks like myself, and also, in general, anyone who is fed up with the enshittification of Instagram and TikTok. If you're not interested in art, you can still use our platform the same way you would Instagram or TikTok. Sharing photos of your friends on a night out, or vacation pictures, or, posting funny memes. We're targeting much more than just artists. As for how to overcome the network effect, to help reduce the network effect is all about the friction of switching platforms. If all your art is on Twitter, you're hesitant to move to another site because, that means you have to download all your art and re-upload it to somewhere else, right? And that also means you have to rebuild a following. How do you move your followers over? The trick for us is that we'll do that for you. If you make an account on Haven and you prove that you own the Instagram account for VildrArt, and then we'll go out and get all the photos from VildrArt's Instagram account for you and upload them to our site with the timestamps intact. So we make it really, really easy to move over. We can also reduce the friction for users, for followers, people who are the audience, but they don't really post anything themselves. On most sites, your following list is public. When you sign up for Haven, we can say, okay, what is your account on other sites? And we'll go out and get your following list from Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or whatever. We can say, oh, the Instagram user VildrArt which Haven account does that correspond to? We can move your following list from one site to another. So you're following all the same people on Haven. You don't have to re-find them. And your audience doesn't have to re-find you. We'll automatically make them follow you if they opt into it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is that, do I have to do that? Or can I start? I like to start.
But if you choose to, you may.
Sometimes.
We're all about user choice.
Will there be some way to monetize your content?
Same as YouTube. When your channel reaches a certain milestone, you can apply for monetization and start getting paid for the views you get. And foreshadowing, I'm setting you guys up for the annoying bit later, but the reason we have money to pay our creators and have a monetization program is because we run ads. You don't get monetized on, Kara or ArtStation or Blue Sky because they don't run ads, so they don't have the money to pay for that.
Yeah, I honestly feel like people don't have as much of a problem with ads as much as they do when ads are just too invasive, especially like Pinterest has started increasing the volume of their ads. YouTube has started running more 20 minutes. But when it's invasive, that's when it starts to become a problem.
Absolutely, yeah.
Would there be some way to basically opt out of the ads by being like, I'm gonna actually pay a subscription for it?
Yes, we'll have kind of a Twitter... gross, I'm not going to say Twitter. We'll have kind of a YouTube premium type plan, yeah.
I also thought of another question regarding the monetization. On YouTube, a lot of artists and animators will post animation memes, which are essentially like you have a song and then you animate characters to it. Most of them earn no money at all because it all goes to the copyright holder.
Really?
And some of these videos,
they just take 100% of it?
Yeah. Some of these videos have like crazy high views, and it's like so sad that the person who put so much effort into this animation gets nothing.
As a last resort, if they really twist our arm, we might have to give a portion of the revenue from the video to the copyright holder, but not 100%. That's insane.
Yeah.
The animation meme community is gonna be so hyped about this, I hope.
I'm hyped. All right, I'm awesome. I'm a fan of the Rain World animation memes myself.
Editing will here. There's this new hype feature on some devices, so if you can use it and you're hyped, leave us some hype. Along with liking and commenting, it also helps to show the video to more people. How will your algorithm be different, and how will people be able to grow?
So a big reason, there's been a big shift towards engagement bait and rage bait in recent years because YouTube, Twitter, all these other sites have shifted less towards what is liked and more towards engagement. Rage bait and engage bait are popular on these other platforms because the platform rewards any engagement, not positive engagement. The way our algorithm is different is that we don't promote content based on engagement, total, only positive engagement. The two easiest ways to do this are don't count comments as engagement. Because when you disagree with a video, you don't like it, you don't bookmark it, you don't add it to a playlist, you go to the comments. That's one of the only ways to express your disagreement. So we just don't count comments. Secondly, is to prevent clickbait and rage bait, we set it up so that if you dislike a video, it revokes all of your engagement with it. If you watch a video and you get to the end, you're like, wow, they really never got around to their main point. I feel kind of suckered in. I feel kind of betrayed. If you dislike the video, it's as if you never watched it. So you can avoid promoting bait and kind of have the last laugh there.
Is Haven Social going to be an actual social media app, not just a website?
Yes, we're going big with this. Imagine Instagram. So
imagine Instagram, period.
Yeah.
But better,
desktop
period.
experience, mobile app, a big project, actual social media. Yeah.
One of the points that you wanted to do differently than other social media was no/less censorship. And someone asked how that will affect things like hate speech.
Haven is anti-censorship. And I think free speech is important, but I intentionally don't use the words free speech in my marketing. So when I say free speech, I don't mean absolute free speech. Like people who say like, yeah, free speech means I can yell slurs and make death threats and stuff like that. That's not what we're about. So I mean anti-censorship free speech, more like protecting people from having to use algo speak, and then protecting people from shadowy megacorps and governments promoting and suppressing certain topics. Or on American social media, posts about protests or demonstrations get suppressed. So you have to say music festival instead. On Twitter, disagreeing with Musk gets you shadow banned. That is what we are aiming to protect you from when we say anti-censorship.
Is gore art allowed, and will there be content warnings /spoiler tags?
Yes, there will be like content warning, spoiler tags, kind of like blurring out the image unless you say like, yeah, I want to see it. As for is gore art allowed, it depends on the nature of the gore. real life gore isn't necessarily banned. So for example, if you're a veterinarian explaining how to fix certain wounds in animals, and you like show the wound and it's up close and bloody and gross, and you show like how to stitch it up or how to fix it, that's fine. If you're making art of a fight scene and so there's blood, or if you're drawing like a piece of horror art, kind of like something Resident Evil inspired, and that's fine. But we're not going to allow, you know, top 10 greatest cartel executions compilation.
Yeah, okay.
So
Oh, no.
in general, if it's something you'd post on LiveLeak, don't post it here.
Is Haven planning on working with any other anti-AI platforms such as Kara or UnVale? I don't know if you know what UnVale is.
I believe that's for like original characters, right?
Yes.
We're not currently planning on it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Hey, if you're watching this stream right now and you work for one of those companies, reach out.
Kind of like a random feature, but I was thinking it would be cool to see collaborations with VGen. I don't know if you know what VGen is.
Yeah, they're a like marketplace for hiring artists, right?
Yeah, you know how artists usually have to link to like their commission page on the profile? You could have it so it's like more integrated maybe to link to, for example, VGen.
Yeah, that is a really nice idea.
It would be kind of funky. Yeah, people will be wondering, how is this going to be financed?
Right, talking money.
Yeah.
We'll run ads. That's how we fund ourselves. The Kickstarter is for like the scaling the product. We currently have it as a like small prototype, and we're running a Kickstarter to scale it into what we need to support, you know, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. And then as for upkeeping the cost of running the app, we'll run ads. And I'll give you the most upfront talk about ads, right? Way more honest than any other social media guy. So we have to show ads so that we can pay our staff and pay for the equipment we need to poison your art for free. But our ads are more ethical and better than any other social medias. So first, the common saying is, if you don't pay for the product, you are the product. You know, we take note of what content you enjoy so that we can serve you relevant ads. But we are way more ethical about it than all the other guys. They sell the data they collect on you to whoever will pay for it. You know, we don't do that. We keep that internal for our use only, private. Secondly, we're not evil about how we target our ads. So thirdly, there is a difference in what we use the ad revenue for. With the revenue from Haven that we get from running ads, we can fund research and development to ensure that poisoning tools stay up to date with anti-poisoning tools. And then running ads also gives us an R&D budget to develop protections against types of AI attacks that don't have tools for them yet. For example, Glaze and Nightshade, they work very well against the attacks they were designed to stop. The developers make it very clear that Glaze and Nightshade do not protect against image-to-image attacks, such as what Grok uses. I want to go back to, if you don't pay for the product, you are the product. That implies that if you do pay for the product, you are not the product. And that used to be true, but today's platforms have totally renegated on their side of the deal. If you pay for a product, you are still the product. But with us, you know, if you're paying for a subscription to not see ads, then we don't need to know what sort of ads you like. We'll turn off any data collection and leave you out of our statistics and analytics and stuff like that. This feature is peace of mind for other computer nerds. So yes, we serve ads, but we're better than all the other guys.
How are you better than any of the other new social media projects that forbid AI content, for example, like Kara?
There's a lot of these have popped up recently. The difference is that they are just no AI platforms. We are no AI, and we provide free protections against AI. Because if you say no AI, but you don't provide like poisoning or etc., you're saying, hey, I have a bunch of really valuable information for AI. Come scrape me. With us, it's come scrape me at your own risk.
Yeah.
And then Divine. Now here's an interesting one, right? They're the savior of the short form video market. You know, no AI. Except, you know, once you poke around a little bit, you can find some really interesting things. So if we could put on our tinfoil hats here, please.
Okay.
Thank you. If you, the developers of Divine and Other Stuff is the name of the company, they also have a department that makes an AI building and training tool. They call it Shakespeare, right? The same company is promoting both pro-AI and anti-AI topics. When you're training an AI model, you don't want there to be any AI-generated videos in its training data. A big collection of only human artwork and only human videos is very, very valuable for AI training. Jack Dorsey, owner of And Other Stuff, developers of Divine, also owns Goose AI, an AI training company.
Oh.
Huh. The same guy making something that is very valuable for AI training also owns AI training. Weird,
Now
right?
what? No.
Yeah, so I am not worried about Divine as a competitor. I fully expect them to implode within the next, few months, maybe a few years. Interesting questions of loyalty.
That is suspicious indeed, yeah.
I'm not saying anything, but, draw your own conclusions.
I'm not saying anything, but I am saying something. Is NSFW content allowed?
Yes. We're a site for art, and nudity is a part of art. Go look at the Sistine Chapel. Go look at any ancient Greek statue. It's the job of our algorithm to make sure that people who like that stuff see it, and people who opt out of it don't. And I know what you're saying. I can hear the questions bubbling. If you allow not safe for work artwork, how are you going to pull in advertisers? They don't advertise next to that stuff. What doesn't get mentioned as much is that advertisers are much more accommodating and flexible than they seem. So a really good example of this is Game of Thrones. Every brand wanted to be associated with it. Everyone was doing Game of Thrones themed ads and products. This is really interesting because Game of Thrones is very not brand friendly. There's tons of nudity. Top of that, there's tons of blood and guts and gore and death and violence and adult language in Game of Thrones. But advertisers love to be associated with Game of Thrones. Another recent example is Twitter. They have a new scandal every month. Grok praising Hitler, and then only a month later on live TV, Elon said, "Hey advertisers, fuck you, you should pull your ads from Twitter." And yet, big risk-adverse brands still buy Twitter ads. So we believe it is clear that advertisers aren't as strict about family-friendly as they claim to be. And we're better than Twitter. So that's where we're different. We're on your side, in your corner, saying, yeah, there is porn on the site. There's porn on every site, and you're okay with advertising on those sites. So you'll be fine.
Are there age requirements or age verification?
I think that stuff like submitting your government ID to websites is totally insane and absolutely not acceptable. A future question is, okay, how do we protect minors from using the platform, from seeing it? The way we would prevent kids from seeing provocative content is the same way that bars and nightclubs do it. We don't let them in. This is not a site for minors. It's not a site for children. No social media is, to be clear. There's no way to expose a child to the constant stream of consciousness of every human on the planet. No, going back to age requirements and verification, left to our own devices, we just kind of take your word for it. Don't make me parent you. Parent your own children. If we are absolutely forced to, we will use every trick in the book to avoid having to collect more information on people. I'm really a big fan of Newground's method of verifying if someone's 18 plus. Only adults are allowed to have credit cards. If you want to buy a month of Haven Premium, no ads, I'll sell you the first month for a cent, because that proves that you have a credit card, and therefore you're not a child, and therefore we can let you in. But I really don't want to have to do that.
Also, Yen asked, does it go by 18 plus or 21 plus?
18 plus.
Okay. Would you consider having a system that's kind of like Patreon integrated? Essentially, people could pay a specific creator to see extra content.
That's not something we're currently planning on adding, but it's a cool idea. I'll certainly keep it in mind.
But since you are able to monetize it with ads, that's already better than anything else I kind of know about at this point. So yeah, that's already kind of good actually. How is it decided what content is allowed and what isn't? The viewer submitted a note as well where they said platforms have a bad habit of getting big because of NSFW artists and artists drawing dead doff. Dead doff is kind of anything that could be offensive to some people, but it's tagged to be that, so you can avoid it. Those artists kind of going there who migrated there only to kick out those people once the platform has enough other people by slowly adjusting which NSFW content is allowed and which isn't. The example of this being Blue Sky slowly tightening the news to disallow fictional non-con and monster depictions, where the rules beforehand were so vague that it was assumed it was allowed, and it's kind of what made the website prospective for many people.
So the reason you see such betraying psychopathic behavior there Psychopathic being having no empathy for others, not being like crazy and evil. It all comes down to how you fund yourself. Blue Sky does that because they are relying on cosmetics and venture capitalist funding. And when you take so much VC money, that means you are beholden to them. And they only care about money, not preserving, artistic integrity and protecting dead dove artists. The VCs don't care about that. They care about money. The way that we prevent that from happening to us is we are more self-sufficient. We make money by running ads, and so we are not subject to those pressures. The full transparency. I do expect us to have to take some funding to do some funding rounds, but the difference between us and Blue Sky and Patreon is that we do it as absolutely minimum as possible. Patreon makes a lot of money. When you get that in your pocket, you have two choices. Either A, you can continue to kick out and refuse service to the people, drawing dead dove, drawing non-con, or you can take the money and buy back stock to have more control over the company to allow that sort of content if you want. With our profit, we'll be buying back the stock we sell during funding rounds so that we don't have to listen to them anymore. And we can not compromise our philosophy. I claim to care about, free speech and protecting artists, even weird art. It's kind of like if I was not in control of the company, then you're right. They might get big off the fetish artists and then kick them out later. But that is something I personally care about, like treating people right like that. Mm-hmm. And so with control over the company, we can make sure that doesn't happen.
All right. That is the questions I have written down.
I might take a moment to plug how you can support the project if you'd like. So currently we are running a Kickstarter. So go search up Haven Social and Kickstarter. Follow our campaign. That would be incredible. The other way you can do it is on the Kickstarter. There are links to several social medias. We've made posts promoting the Kickstarter. If you could like it, repost it, stuff like that, spread the word, that would be incredible.
And of course, you can also share this video with your artist friends, privacy nerds, and anyone else who is fed up with the enshittification of social media. We will get to the end, which will be the stream exploding.
The stream is going to explode? I didn't realize I was going to die here.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of what you signed up for. You didn't read the small print, I think.
I will take my exploding with honor and stoicism.
Goodbye.